Ah, child, come closer, closer to me. Don't sit so far away. My voice isn't as strong as it used to be. That's it. Right there by the fire. Now listen carefully, for what I'm about to tell you isn't some bedtime tale. No, this is the story of my life, of what I once was, and of the things I did. And you must promise, once you hear it, you won't look at me the same again. You see, long ago, when I was young and beautiful, I had a gift. Some called it a curse, others called it a blessing, but I called it power. My hair was black as midnight, my eyes sharp and full of fire, and people came to me from far and wide. They didn't come for friendship, no. They came for something much darker. They came because I was known as the woman who could do what others could not. I was the one who could speak to shadows. I was the one who could twist fate. I practiced black magic. Yes, child, you heard me right. Black magic. I dealt in whispers and bones, in blood and candles, in chants that could raise the dead or silence the living. People feared me, but oh, how they needed me. Their desperation was like a sweet perfume, and I could never resist it. The first who came to me was a woman named Clara, poor, desperate Clara with hollow eyes and trembling hands. She couldn't have children. For 10 long years, her womb was empty, and her husband's love had grown cold. She came weeping at my door, begging me to help her. Please, she cried, please, I'll give you anything. Just let me hold a baby of my own. I looked at her carefully, and I could see the hunger in her soul. It was the kind of hunger that makes people dangerous. I asked her, anything? She nodded, tears streaming down her face. Anything. So I took her into my little room where the candles burned low and the shadows danced. I pricked her finger for blood, pulled a strand of her hair, and I spoke to the spirits who lingered just beyond the veil. My lips whispered ancient words, words forbidden by priests and holy men. And when the ritual was done, I told her, go home. By the next harvest, you will carry life inside you. And it happened, child, just as I said. Clara bore a son, a strong and healthy boy. She returned to me with joy in her eyes, kissed my hands, and called me a miracle. But what she did not know, what she never even suspected, was that every spell has a cost. Nothing is ever truly given. For her womb to open, another womb had to close. Somewhere, far away, another baby took its last breath so that Clara's child could live. I never told her that, of course. She would not have understood. Not long after, a man came to me. His name was Robert. His eyes were hard, his voice sharp, his heart filled with hate. He wanted his own brother dead. Yes, his own blood child. He told me his brother had stolen his land, his woman, his pride, and he wanted vengeance. He begged me to make it happen. I'll give you gold. I'll give you anything you ask, he said. I studied him. Revenge has a taste, bitter and sharp, and Robert reeked of it. I told him the price, and he agreed without hesitation. That night, under the crooked moon, I made a doll. I stuffed it with grave dirt and the bones of a blackbird. I wrapped it with his brother's hair and bound it with black thread. And then I drove the first pin through its chest. 3 days later, the brother was found dead, his face twisted in horror, his heart ruptured as if pierced by invisible hands. Robert returned, grinning, thanking me with coins and fine wine. But I knew the spirits had taken note of his greed, and that one day his price would be paid. You see, child, people think witches are born with their power. That's not true. Power isn't born, it's bargained for. I was only 18 when I made my pact. Alone in the forest, beneath the oldest oak, I drew a circle, lit black candles, and cut my palm with a blade. I called out, and the shadows answered. It did not come as a man or beast, no, it came as a presence, thick and suffocating, like smoke wrapping around my mind. It whispered promises, beauty, knowledge, strength, riches, all if I would only serve. I agreed, and from that night forward, I was never alone. The shadow lingered behind me, whispering secrets, feeding me power. Each spell I cast, each curse I uttered, it gave me more. But with every gift, a piece of me was taken. My soul was chipped away like stone under a hammer. Did I care? Number. I was young, foolish, greedy. The world bent before me, and I thought I could control it. But whispers spread. People began to talk. Some said I was blessed, others swore I was cursed. The priest in town would spit at the ground when I passed. Mothers clutched their children close, and yet they still came to me, because when their crops failed, I made them grow. When their husbands beat them, I made the men weak with sickness. When their lovers strayed, I made the rivals suffer. They feared me, but they needed me. That is the cruelest truth of all. And then one night came the knock that would change everything. It was late, the moon hidden, the wind howling. I opened the door and found a stranger standing there. He was tall, cloaked in black, his face hidden in shadow. His voice was soft, but it cut through the air like a knife. He did not ask for a child, nor revenge, nor riches, number. He asked for something far darker. He asked for life eternal. "Help me," he whispered. "Help me live forever." And in that moment, child, my blood ran cold, for this was no ordinary man. And what he asked for was the beginning of my greatest sin. Ah, child, where was I? Yes, the man at my door, the one who came in the dead of night asking for eternity. I can still see him, standing there, his cloak damp with mist, his face hidden in shadow. Something in me whispered to shut the door, to send him away. But power, you see, is a hunger that never sleeps. And the moment he spoke of eternal life, I felt the shadow at my back stir with interest. I let him in. The candles flickered as he stepped across my threshold. He didn't sit. He stood still, tall and unmoving, like a tree in the storm. His voice, low and steady, filled the room. "I know who you are," he said. "I know what you've done. I know the spirits you serve." My heart beat faster. Few dared speak so boldly. Most came trembling, begging. But this man, no, he wasn't like the others. He knew too much. He spoke as if he had been watching me all along. "I want what only you can give," he said. "I want to cheat death. I want to live forever." Do you know what it means, child, to grant such a wish? Eternal life is not a gift. It is a curse that eats through bone and soul. But the man's eyes, though shadowed, burned with such fierce longing that I felt my lips part before I even realized the words leaving me. "It is possible," I whispered, "but the cost—" "Name it," he said. And so I did. I told him the ritual, the blood of a child, innocent and pure, the heart of a beast killed under the new moon, his own soul bound in chains of shadow. He agreed without hesitation. And when he did, I knew. This was no man at all. This was something else, wrapped in flesh, walking among us. The ritual was long, filled with words no mortal tongue should ever speak. I cut my palm, dripped blood into the bowl, mixed it with ash and bone. The candles flared, the walls groaned, and the air thickened until breathing itself was pain. The man never moved, never blinked, and when it was done, when the last word slipped from my lips, I felt it, an echo, a scream, something tearing loose from the earth. He looked at me then, and for the first time I saw his face. His skin was pale as wax, his eyes dark as endless wells, and his mouth curled in a smile that chilled me to the bone. "Thank you," he said, and then, like smoke, he was gone. Gone. Just like that. But he wasn't truly gone. For nights afterward, I saw him in my dreams, standing by rivers, walking through forests, standing at the edge of my bed, always smiling, always watching. And when I woke, the shadow that had once whispered sweetly now roared inside me like a storm. I had crossed a line even it dared not tread. Strange things began to happen in the village. Cattle were found dead, their bodies drained of blood. Children woke screaming in the night, saying a tall man stood in their rooms. Graves were found open, bones missing, and the people began to look at me with something deeper than fear. They looked at me with hatred. "Witch!" they spat when I walked by. "Devil's whore!" they hissed. The priest preached of demons, of damnation, and though he never spoke my name, all eyes turned to me. I should have stopped, I should have fled, but I was too far gone. The shadow inside me demanded more blood, more power, more sacrifice. And so I obeyed. I drew circles, I lit the candles, I whispered to the spirits. But the more I gave, the less I felt myself. My laughter grew hollow, my reflection strange, my heart, oh child, my heart grew cold. One night, a mother came to me. Her son was sick, burning with fever. His body shook, his skin pale as death. She begged me, weeping at my feet, "Please, save him. I'll do anything." I could have helped her. I could have called upon herbs, upon healing charms, but the shadow whispered, "Take him. His soul is strong. His death will give you more than his life." And, child, I listened. I whispered my chants, laid my hands upon the boy, and watched as his breath slowed, as his eyes closed. The mother screamed, clawed at me, cursed my name, but it was too late. The boy's soul slipped from his body, and I drank its power. I felt it rush through me, hot and fierce, like fire in my veins. But that night, when I closed my eyes, I saw him, the boy, standing by my bed, his face pale, his eyes wide, his mouth whispering my name. He did not leave. Night after night, he stood there, watching, accusing. And though I told myself it was only guilt, deep inside I knew I had bound him to me, forever. That was when the village rose against me. They came with torches, with pitchforks, with hatred burning in their eyes. They dragged me from my home, bound my hands, spat upon me. "Witch!" they cried. "Murderer!" They took me to the river, child, the same river that sang outside my window. They tied stones to my ankles, pushed me into the black water, and left me to drown. My lungs filled, my vision blurred, my heart pounded, and just when the darkness took me, I felt the shadow. It did not let me die. Number. It pulled me back, tore me from death's embrace, and I woke upon the riverbank, coughing, shivering, alive. The stones that should have dragged me to the depths lay shattered beside me, and the people, when they saw me walking among them again, screamed and fled. From that day on, I was no longer human in their eyes. I was something else, something cursed. Years passed. My hair turned gray, my body frail, but the shadow never left me. The man who had asked for eternal life, I never saw him again, not truly, but sometimes, in the corner of my eye, I catch a glimpse of him, watching, waiting, smiling that same terrible smile. And now, child, I sit here before you, old and tired. My hands shake, my voice trembles, and the weight of what I've done crushes me. But you must understand, I tell you this not for pity, not for forgiveness. I tell you because power, once tasted, never leaves. Even now, when I close my eyes, I hear the whispers. They call to me, sweet and dark. And though I am old, though I am near the grave, I fear that when I die, I will not rest. No, child, I will walk still, bound by the deals I made, by the blood I spilled. So remember this, magic, power, black as the night, it gives, but it always takes more. And if ever you hear the whisper of shadows promising you what your heart desires most, turn away, do not listen, for the price, child, the price is always too high. And now you know my truth, the truth of who I was and what I became.